What's up, YouTube? Back at it again. I know it's been a while, but I've had some things in the works, and this time we're building something really cool. So as you can see here, we've got this trailer full of pallets. I got this ugly pile of pallets over here, and we are going to be building a shed / workshop, man cave, whatever you want to call it. We're putting up a structure with pallets. So let's take a look at what we got, and we'll go from there. So I picked these up. I know you can pick them up for dirt cheap or next to nothing, normally free. I got these for about 50 bucks for 40 pallets. I got that ugly pile for free, but that's just gonna be filler stuff. But then what we're gonna be doing right here is gonna be a 12 by 12 shed that we're gonna put up right next to this ugly one over here. And then maybe one day we'll join the two or whatever. We're gonna put it on 4 by 4 posts. So that's what we got. Let's see what we can make of it. A little backstory. I got a dog that's 17 years old, can't see, can't smell. And we're wanting to put up this building so she has more room to roam. She can kind of be free and kind of live the best life that she can for the remainder of her life. So once she goes, then it's going to be repurposed into my little hobby shop, workshop, whatever you want to call it. But that was kind of what stemmed the project. We looked around at sheds, couldn't find any that we liked. And I was like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to do some silly YouTube video with pallets. So enough chat. Let's get this thing framed up and get the floor built, and we'll go from there. Just kidding. A quick little disclaimer. I'm not a carpenter by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a fabricator. So maybe there's some crossover, but kind of the purpose of this video is to show that it's a DIY. You know, anybody can do anything that they put their mind to, and it's really not that hard once you just get started. So that being said, let's get started. Too far. Step 1, lay out your 4 by 4s. Step 2, lay out your pallets from best to worst to, why did I even buy these? Then take your best pallets and screw them to the 4 by 4s. Make it square. Now we're gonna put one on the other end, get it square within reason. I know there's gonna be so many haters out there that are gonna say, oh, you're doing it wrong. Guess what? It's a shed made out of pallets. So if you're looking for perfection, don't go this route. Okay, so we got the first run of boards laid down, got the second run. All we need to do now is put in the third run. We got this section nice and square. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that center pallet out. That way, once I get the floor built, I can go through with the laser and get it leveled and chalked up the way it needs to be, and then I can lay that floor in. If you look, a lot of the floor is a little uneven, so I haven't quite figured out which route I'm going to go there. But that's the fun part about this, is just winging it and making something work. So let's get that other run in, and then we'll have our floor done. Okay, so I got my other 2 pallets screwed down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inside panels off, the top layers of them. That way I can get more screws in there and just really send them home. So let's get that taken off. We'll put that outside pallet on, and then we'll get her leveled up. So I spared you guys the trouble of watching me level this thing, because that's just, I'd rather watch paint dry. But look at this. Got her all level, she's nice and square. If the camera's bouncy, it's because I'm bouncing. So we got this all set up. I'll flip the camera around, show you how much we had to come up. Because whenever you're trying to level something, it's always more than you think. So yeah, we had to come up quite a bit. some of the areas, but hey, you know what? It's where I wanted it, and that's where it's gonna be. So I actually had a few things laying around, like some little landscape bricks, and then I took some 2x off of, I cut down one of the pallets and just used that. Yes, I know it's not gonna stay level and it's probably gonna sink, but we'll just re-level it at that point. So that's what we got. Let's fill that big ugly hole and then we can start putting our sheathing down. Like a glove. I think I bought enough wood. Here we go, folks. We got the floor in. We're ready for walls. I am stoked to get the walls in, but as you can see, it's a little not perfect. But you know what? Pallets aren't perfect, and trying to match them up is next to impossible. So for what we're working with, I think it's a success. So let's get these walls in. I'm gonna call it a night for now. So put a different shirt on, cool off, spend some time with the kids. But gonna hit it hard first thing in the morning and get this thing built. Good morning, everybody. Pallet shed build, day 2. So we got the floor done. Just recap. Went ahead and mocked up a couple of the walls just to see kind of what they'd look like. But now what we're gonna do is I got the sawhorses set up, and we're gonna take these pallets and we're gonna cut them down to 48 inches exact. That way I can make sure that as I build my walls and I stack them, I have a true 8-foot wall. So let's get that going and we'll get some walls put up. That's kind of the idea of what we're going to be doing. Got 3 more corners to do same way, and then we can start building up. It's probably a good time to take a vote. Put in the comments below how many of you think this is going to hold up for 6 months, and how many of you think it's going to last as long as we want. I want to show you one thing that I did that saved my life. Whenever you're setting your corners, take a little 2x4 here, cut it down to where it'll fit inside, and fasten it down with one little GRK. And what that does is whenever you put that into your corner, instead of running an angled toenail like I was doing, that makes the pallet walk whenever it cinches down. So I send a screw through the 2x4, and that'll prevent my pallet from walking back and forth. Okay, corners are on. Have a look-see. All 4. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill these corners here and there. Make the complete wall. I'm gonna leave the 2 ends open because I'm gonna cut those back for double doors. One side for Lexi, my dog. The other side to be able to get the lawnmower in and whatnot. And then after that, we're gonna take a pallet, cut it down, and we're gonna make some risers in order to more or less slot the other pallets in. Hopefully that idea works, but it sounds pretty good. So let's see how she works out. I had to take a little break to go pick up some parts for another project, which if you want to see that project, best thing you can do is subscribe and get notified when that video hits. But I got to thinking, it was like, you know, this pretty sketchy, even for a pallet shed. So what we're gonna do, if you can't see, a lot of the verticals just don't line up. So we're actually gonna take that down. I'm gonna disassemble some pallets and line up the uprights, probably like it should be. So for those of you that are shaking their head, pulling their hair out, you're welcome. So let's get that torn apart and do it the right way. started a project and think, man, this is a bad idea. But then you got to finish it just to see how it turns out. It's one of these projects. So here's what I'm doing now to build the uprights is a slotted section of 2x4, and we'll screw these into place. And then what we'll do, we'll take our other pallet boards, set them up, and secure it. Theoretically, it should be just as strong as a normal 2x4. So that's the route we're gonna go. And then as we get this built up, we've got our 8 feet. Then we can start putting our cross boards on and actually try and gap them a little bit to try and save boards. Then we can worry about a roof and siding. Pallet shed build, day 3. Brought a little helper with me today. This is Scott.
Hey everybody.
He's gonna help us get the rafters on. And as you can see, we got the uprights put in. We're gonna put a stringer around the top plate and start building rafters. So let's get to it. Okay, we got our little crossboards put up. I've got to trim a couple like there on the corner. But we got those put up just to kind of tie everything into place. I know it's still super, super ugly. But, you know, that's kind of part of this build is taking something that is irregular by nature and making something beautiful out of it. So, I know it's a little deep for my typical channel, but I enjoy it. So now the next step, I got this whole load of lumber here. Got some 12 footers and some 8s, and we're gonna build some rafters and get those set up, and then this thing can actually start looking like a building. So let's get these laid out, start making something out of this mess. So one thing I did that's probably should be noted is, so we are going to do a double top plate. And I just learned that yesterday from my brother and my dad. More or less calling me an idiot, but again, not a carpenter. They are carpenters. So we're going to do the top plate to help tie all of our verticals in place. And then with the double top plate, what it does is it provides rigidity in the corners. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see it real well, but our corners just kind of lap right there, and there's not really anything tying the two walls together. So with that top plate, we'll overlap and get a nice joint there. But what I did is we've got 12 foot 2x4s running on these two walls, and then on the front and rear walls, the top plates are going to be are 11 foot 5 inches, because you got to compensate for the 3.5 inches on either side. Now, when we do the top layer, what we're going to do is we're going to do 12 feet on the front and rear, and then 11 foot 5 on the sides, and that creates that nice overlap. So after them calling me an idiot and me thinking it over, that makes sense. So it's actually starting to stiffen up quite well. I'm starting to get pretty happy with it. And another thing too is I opted to not use pallet wood for the roof. I mean, the roof is the most important piece of the shed, of a building, of a structure. So, in my opinion, some say the foundation. The foundation is most important, but we built that out of pallets. But, so we're going to do all new lumber for the roof. It's going to raise the cost of it a little bit, but it is still a drop in the bucket compared to the cost of a new shed. So, let's get this other top plate on, then we'll do our double, and then we can start building rafters. That'll hold up nicely. So I am gonna cheap out a little bit, right or wrong. I bought my 12 footers just to do the cross braces for the rafters. I didn't think about doing that. And I've got a ton of 8 footers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do 8 and 4 and 8 and 4 on the other 3 sides. Go ahead, freak out. Ask me if I care in the comments. It's a shed. So we're gonna do that. It'll still keep it just as strong. I am gonna make sure that when I do my 8 and 4 stagger, I'm gonna make sure to stagger the joints there. So sounds good. We'll find out. There we go, folks. We got the top plates on with the doubles. Looking pretty good, if I say so myself. You can see all that there, all the way around. She's nice and square. But we're gonna call this a video, part 1. So in the next video, I'm gonna be building the trusses and putting on all the siding and pretty much wrapping this thing up. Gonna try and do the whole build in 2 videos. So if you haven't already, support your village idiot. Hit that subscribe button and notifications. I'd appreciate it. It helps us make all these ridiculous videos. But thanks again for watching. I hope you learned what not to do, because I sure did. And I'll catch you on the next one.